As we're crossing, it was like Star Wars. And we start taking contact. They were throwing rounds downrange. Everything in my body was shaking and I couldn't even breathe. And I'm like, I don't want to die. I was like, please, God, if I die, let it be quick, please. Again, the gun, we drive maybe a block. Boom! All of a sudden, everything goes like this. And I can't even freaking see in front of me. I have my finger ready to hit that trigger. Motherfucker, shoot! Rounds everywhere. My eyes clear up. As soon as I pulled that trigger, I felt peace. This sedan comes up, but I'm pointing at him. All of a sudden, dude, I hear doom, doom, doom. RPGs coming at me, but I don't know where the hell these RPGs are going. They're impacting to my right. They're impacting to my left. We had them bounce off the freaking thing and go over me. I was like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I start shooting now. 24 hours ago, you're in a war zone, and now I'm home. I remember feeling disconnected, like even hugging my mom, I didn't feel the same, and smiling. I felt like they could see right through me. You lose a piece of yourself. So my name is Ralph Sarabia. I served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 2002 to 2006. I was born in Montebello, California at Beverly Hospital. I spent most of my years in Pico Rivera. In my time in Pico Rivera, it was my mom, my sister, and myself, as well as my grandmother and grandpa. So those years were interesting because my mom, single mom, dad wasn't around. So she was busting her ass just to make sure we were getting fed. And we were those latchkey kids. So, I mean, I could remember at the age of like freaking 7, 8 years old, my kids are the same age, and I would never have them walk from freaking at least 3 blocks just to get to and from school. Uh, but yeah, my sister and I pretty much raised ourselves and supported my mom the best we could. My dad, on the other hand, my pops he was a Vietnam vet. So he was a Force Recon Marine, not Force Recon, First Recon, and he was in Vietnam, shot 5 times. And yeah, it was a big deal, man. And unfortunately, I think I was about 5 years old. My dad ended up saying, "Chale tamale, I'm done." And he left my mom and my sister and I. And that was painful.
Left, like took off from the family.
Yeah, he like totally abandoned us. But my dad was doing some things he shouldn't have been doing, and he was self-medicating. So he was in and out of my life, like for the first 18 years, just like, I mean, you couldn't count on it, you know? I think at, shoot, I was about 7 or 8. My dad came back in the picture, not with my mom, but hey, I want to see my son. So I was so excited, man, just to see my pops, right? He moved to El Monte.
So he stayed in the area.
He stayed in the area, but he didn't answer my calls. So, hey, Dad, where are you? I think he was ashamed. I think he didn't want to put up with my mom's BS either. And he was doing drugs. I think my mom, she gave him a run for his money. I think it was difficult to live in that house. And I mean, my dad was raised by getting his ass beat with a shovel from his own dad. Like, he didn't really have all those emotions intact. And I think he was struggling too with his own PTSD. And the one thing that was making him feel good was the heroin, was the cocaine. And it took me a long time to realize that. But as a youngster, I was that kid that my dad would like, hey, I'm going to take you to a Raider game. And I think, yeah, I was about 6 or 7. And as a little boy, all you want is your dad. Mom was a disciplinarian. Dad was like, he was my Superman, man. He was my superhero. He's like, hey, I'm gonna pick you up and we're gonna go to this game. He's like, get all your stuff ready. I was stoked, man. I get to get out of this house full of women. I'm so excited, man. And I end up Saturday morning got my stuff. I live in an apartment. I grab all my gear, and I'm waiting on the stairs. And my dad said like 8 a.m. sharp, be ready. Well, 8:30 comes around, nowhere to be found. And I think it probably about 2-3 hours. I'm like calling my dad, like, where are you, man? And it's crazy because you still feel it, even as a 42-year-old male man. She's um so I'm waiting there and my mom's watching out the window and I could see her crying already. And I'm like, he's gonna be here. He's gonna be here. Man, he didn't even he didn't show up, didn't answer my calls. And I think 2 weeks later I finally heard from him. And he's like, yeah, I want to come by. He comes by, and you know what he brings me?
Hmm.
The freaking Raider float that he bought with his girlfriend that he took.
Wow. So he did go to the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's one, right? Or two. So every time my dad did something like that, I was just like, I'll just stuff it, I'll stuff it. And I felt bad because my mom, she's like, I'm so sorry, amigo, don't worry. And I'm like, I'm more worried about her, trying to take care of her, because I need to be the man of the house. And so I put all my stuff down deep. Even when my dad was a badass guitar player. He played for Sly Slick and the Wicked. Remember that song, Confessing the Feeling?
Yeah.
My dad was part of that group.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's a guitar player, traveling too. Like, that was his thing. And he bought me this freaking beautiful electric guitar with an amp. And my dad, like, presents, rare, right? So as a little boy, I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I was so happy, dude. I was like, fuck. And I think he gave it to me on that Saturday. And then I was like, can I take it home, please, please, please? And he's like, no, just keep it here. Keep it here. And then when you come back, I'm going to teach you some stuff. Well, I think a couple of weeks go by, every 2 weeks or whatever, for a little bit. I freaking go back, dude. There's no fucking guitar. I'm looking everywhere for this freaking guitar. I'm like, Dad, where's the guitar? Son, some things came up. I had to pawn it. I'm like, all right. So that's the type of relationship we had. The older I got, I was more like, dude, this hurts too much. This hurts too much. And so I realized, like, if I just can emotionally disconnect from him, I'm not going to hurt. So that's kind of what I did. And it wasn't until I talked to him for a few years, and then the older I got, getting ready for I think it was during Twin Towers, when that shit happened, and I decided to join the Marine Corps, that I called him up, like, hey, I'm joining the Marine Corps. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm joining the Marine Corps. And he's like, son, I told you, you don't have to join. He's like, I fought so you didn't have to. I'm like, well, I'm joining. So, but you know what though? I did pull nuggets. I did pull these nuggets, man. One of not how to be and how to raise my sons to do different. And I think it created I never want people to feel what I felt. That's why I love people, man. At a young age, though, it sucks because when you're growing up, like, you need a father figure to be like, hey, son, when you're going through this is how you do it. When you get in a fight with somebody or when you're having a conflict with another man, this is how you deal with it. I never got that. So what did I do? I attached myself to my best friend's dad, and he was a ranger. And that man, dude, his name was Mr. Rod. First time I ever met him, I was like 9 or 10, right? And I said, hey, Frank, how you doing? he had a big old mustache, man, tall, and a stogie in his mouth. He's like, what'd you say? I said, hey, Frank. And my buddy Frank, he's like, and I'm like, and he's like, where's your dad, son? And I was like, he's not around. He's like, Frankie, go over there. I'm going to talk to him. So he's like, okay, Dad. Sits me down. He says, son, he's like, whenever you walk into another man's home, He's like, you address them by their last name, or Mister. You say, hey, Mr. Frank, and you shake his hand. You understand? And I was like, okay. And he's like, so my name, right? Mr. Frank. And I'm like, uh-huh. And he's like, shake my hand. So I shake his hand and I do one of these, like, and he's like, oh, no, 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 no. So he actually taught me to look a man in the eyes, shake his hand, and just squeeze it as hard as you can at your age, right? I'm like, okay. So ever since that moment, man, anywhere I went, how you doing, sir? Hey, good to see you, sir. Mr. Mike, Mr. John, my neighbors, I still do that. So my neighbors, my kids hear me say, hey, Mr. Chris, how you doing? So my kids, hey, Mr. Chris, respect. It's something that, man, I wish we did more of that.
Yeah. It seems like that you had a recipe, your dad leaving, and then growing up in an environment that you grew up with. A lot of people in your position end up turning to gangs. How did you avoid that?
I wanted it because I thought that's what it meant to be a man. But also, I didn't. And the reason why, so you remember Pick and Save?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's funny, bro. So I go to Pick and Save, and you remember those shiny Swiss Army knives?
Yeah.
This Swiss Army knife was at Pick and Save, and bro, it could have been like 20, $30, right? But it was beautiful. And I'm going to keep saying 9 or 10. I could have been 13, 14. I mean, but I was like 9 or 10 on this one. I see this shiny Swiss Army knife, and I'm like, this is beautiful. It's freaking beautiful. I had all the tools, man. And I said, hey, Mom, can I get this? And she's like, no, put it back. I'm like, I freaking take it, and I rip off the actual package of it, and I stick it in my pocket, and I walk out. I'm kind of scared, right? But I didn't know what was about to hit me in a little bit. We get home, and I guess my sister and I were, or it's nap time or whatever, and I'm like, I go under my pillow. My sister's right here next to me, and I'm just like, well, eyeballing it, man. I'm like, I got it. I got it. And my sister just happens to wake up and look, and she sees the Swiss Army knife. She's like, oh, I'm telling Mom. I'm like, no. And my mom comes up, grabs me by my ear, says, get your ass in the car. I was like, I'm sorry. Right? So she's driving me, and I'm like, where are we going? And she's like, get ready. She's like, I can't believe you lost your head, son. Takes me in the Pick and Save. I talk to the manager. I'm sorry, sir. I lost my head. This is your your product or whatever, and I apologize. And he's like, you're not allowed to come back into the store. So Roger that pretty much. And I'm like, all right, okay. So maybe it's just an ass whooping and that's it. I'll be good. And then my mom, instead of going the direction towards my grandma's, she's going another direction. I'm like, where are we going? She's like, you'll see. She drives me up to Pico Rivera Sheriff Station. And apparently she made a call. And man, I was like 4'11", maybe, and probably 200 pounds, little chunky guy. And we walk up the stairs, man. My legs, I can't even walk. I'm shaking. And there's these two large deputy sheriffs, man. And they're like, I'm looking at my mom, and she's like, you want to steal? And I see them, and they're like, you want to steal? Put your hands behind your back. They literally get my hands, and they do this little squeeze. And I'm like, Mom, please, I'm crying, dude. My mom said that she was laughing and crying at the same time. She felt so bad. They freaking take me to the back of the station they had glass cells at that time. I remember watching like certain people. I saw a woman pissing, and I'm like, what the heck? They put me in the back of the cell, and they said, we'll see how long you'll be here. You got to do your time now. Man, it traumatized the shit out of me. I never stole again.
Wow. Well, that's good, man. It's good that you had a mom that cared. So what really inspired you to join the military?
So I was one of those kids that like I always struggled in school. And it wasn't that I wasn't smart, it was that I was lazy. And I used to wait last minute to do my school stuff, and I was a talker. So I'd say, "Man, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to do this cuz I like the way it sounded." But I didn't have the unction or the huevos to freaking back it up. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to go to college." So I ended up going to Mount Sac, and I was there like a few months, man. And I was just messing around with girls, just having a good old time, barely showing up to classes. And when shit got serious, I was like, I wanted to do journalism out of anything. I wanted to be a news reporter. And I remember I thought I failed a midterm or something. I freaked out. You know, being young, we're impulsive, right? And this girl next to me had a picture of her brother who was a Marine. And I said, okay. And because I'm always questioning, like, what am I going to be when I grow up? What am I going to do? I don't want to be a shitbag. And I saw that picture. I was like, that's what I'm going to go do. And I didn't like the Marine Corps. All I saw was a bunch of veterans at VFWs getting drunk, you know, not doing anything with their life is what I thought. And I despised it. Every time we went down to San Diego, we'd pass Marine Corps boot camp area right there. I'm like, oh, hell no. Hell no, I'm not going to do that. Anyhow, I literally joined that day.
Well, what was your recruiter experience like?
I was an easy one because I was like, my mind was made up. Like that's one thing with me. I was so dang stubborn. Like when I make my mind up about something, I'm gonna do it. It's good, but the recruiter's like, well, what do you want to do? I said, put me in infantry. Put me in infantry. And he's like, yeah, well, if you got good test scores, blah blah blah. Now here's the embarrassing part. I failed my freaking ASVAB. I didn't know you could fail, but I failed. He's like, man, really? A 31? I don't know how these things work. Like, that's not me. And he's like, damn. All right, well, we're going to do it again. And right around that time was when Twin Towers happened. So I was already like, man.
What year did you enlist?
2002.
Oh, man. So what were you doing when the 9/11 happened?
Ditching school. Right?
Were you like a senior or something?
I must have been, man. I just remember I was at home and I'm looking at the TV and I see I see the planes going, and immediately I got fear. Fear rose up in me and I was like, oh man, they're going to hurt us. They're going to hurt, and I felt helpless. Whenever I felt helpless, dude, that's the worst feeling in the world for a young kid. And so that's right around that time I was making my decision. I'm like, I'm screwing up in college. I was like, this is not working. I don't want to be that guy that has a one bedroom halfway house that smells like freaking Budweiser, cocaine in a mirror with a little dollar on it, and not enough money to freaking buy his son's freaking food. I used to steal from my mom's refrigerator to take to my dad's because he never had food. Anyhow, so we go to I go to the recruiter and I studied this time. And I think I got like 2 points above passing. And that's the story of my life, by the way. So we finally get me a date, and it was like for February. And they ended up saying, hey, we have a spot January 13th, a day after my 19th birthday. And they're like, you want to go? I was like, yep. I was like, it was so exciting, bro. Telling people I'm going to be a Marine. I'm going to be a Marine. Yeah. They're like, oh man, they're going to have a party for me. I've been feeling like such a shitbag. Like everybody's celebrating because I said it. But you and I both know, man, the proof's in the pudding. Like you got to put in the work. Mm-hmm. And little did I know, man, that experience was changing my entire life.
What was it like shipping off to boot camp?
So we get to MEPS, Maps takes us to San Diego. We have our lobster dinner or whatever they call it, Sizzler or something like that. I never thought ahead, bro. I always thought just what was in front of me and let's see what happens. So, because I know what happens when I think, I freaking make systematic conclusions that are good for me, and other times let's just go balls to the walls. So as soon as we get into the gates, it's like dark. Get in the gates, they freaking coming up, the drill instructors coming up and doing their speech, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm so like excited. And they're like, all right, get out. And then for the next like 3 or 4 days, they're stripping you of your identity. So now I don't have the same clothes on, my comfy clothes. The smells are different. The environment is different. Everything you hear is different because the planes are going to and from every day, right? And I was like, I'm exhausted. I just want to go to bed. But they're like, suck it the fuck up. Like, you're not, what do you think you're doing? And so I remember the reception and everything, them getting us completely stripping us of everything. And we finally get to rack out. I think it was a Thursday because Friday's Black Friday. And I'm laying on the top bunk and I hear the planes and I actually have time to think. And I hear these like grown men cry, bro. like in boot camp. And I'm like, just, you're going to get through this, right? So I'm like, all right. Friday comes around. We meet the drill instructors. And little did I didn't know that I was the shortest guy in the platoon. I've always been like a 5'3", man. And I was,
you were 5'3"?
Yeah, 5'3", with boots on, maybe 5'3" and a quarter. And I never saw that I was just a short dude or whatever. But when they put us in our lines, they're like, did your mama know you're coming? Yes, sir. And I remember that's when I learned about like how strong you can be when you disregard your brain telling you to quit. Thank God for that part of the Marine Corps, man. Because I was little and I'm having to run with these guys that are freaking one stride. I'm doing three,
Do you recall any specific stories from boot camp?
Oh, man. So when I went to the recruiter's like, do you have asthma? No. You don't have asthma, right? And I'm like, no. And he says, say confident. No. And he's like, okay, good. So I did have respiratory issues as a kid. Okay. I get to boot camp. One of the first speeches they say, if any of you have asthma here, you're going to die. So tell us now. And I'm like, my hand, dude, I'm like, I don't want to be here no more. So I could just let them know. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. So I don't say anything. We're about 6 weeks in, 7 weeks in. And dude, everybody in the platoon gets sick. And now my lungs close up. This is not a good time, man. Not a good time. And I'm like, ugh. And I was like, they're going to kick me out. I always had that like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And I end up, I don't know if I wrote home or what. And I said, yeah, just having some issues with my breathing or something. They took me to the freaking aid station or whatever. And they're like, they had me sit up against a wall. And they're like, oh man, your lungs are filled with fluid. You got bronchitis. And they didn't let me like chill or nothing like that. I'm like, my mom, when I was sick, Bulbrissy, come here, baby. Put a little towel, a little freaking Vicks on my feet, the whole deal, right? And yeah, right. And they're like, well, all right, suck it up. And I can barely breathe, bro. Like breathing through a straw, and my lungs are so tight. I'm like, this is not good. Because like we're going on runs, we're doing all this stuff, and I'm like, man. So this is when I told myself, I said, if I don't complete this, it's not worth it for me to live. So I'd rather die here knowing that I'm going to take it all the way. So what I did is I woke up in the middle of the night and I used the steam and I freaking just breathe that in. The steam from the sink, burn on the hot water, and I would just breathe that in and man, it give me a little bit of relief. And we ended up going up north, right? My lungs are starting to feel better. And all I remember is that no matter what drill instructor was on me, I had this thing where, no, fuck you, man. I'm gonna do this. Like, you're not gonna break me. And I remember I used to fill the tile with sweat, right? That was my thing. And but they got to notice like this little guy, man, he's freaking tough. And the senior drill instructor, he's like, "Sir, Abby, again." They called me into the freaking duty hut, and he's like, he has a package, and he's like, "So you want to lie to the Marine Corps?" I'm like, "No, sir." And he says, "Good, Sarabia, good." And I'm like, I guess senior's mad at me, right? He's supposed to be the like the nice one or whatever. And he's like, "Well, what the fuck is this?" My mom sent me a freaking asthma pump.
Mm.
And I was like, I'm dead. I'm done, right? And I start like this recruit, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you know, I can kick you out for this. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he says, he like looks around and he's like, don't fucking tell anybody. Keep putting out, but do not tell anybody. And he hands it to me.
Mm.
And I'm like, what the? And then he's like, now throw all the vitamins that your mom fucking gave you in the toilet. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that was his ass on the line.
What was boot camp like at that time post 9/11?
Oh yeah, we're all gonna die. I mean, that was the big thing. Like, the drill instructors at that time, they knew that they now are training for combat. These kids are gonna go to combat. So there was no like, hey, you know, give them a pat on the back or whatever. Everything was you're the weakest link. Your buddies are gonna die. Like, so it felt like a different level from what I've seen, but every Marine Corps boot camp will say, oh, it was harder during this time.
Mm.
But for me, it was the hardest experience. You know, what was it called? The not the Macrest, the Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my whole life is like this, bro. We're getting ready to do the Crucible, and we're stepping. All of a sudden, I freaking crack my right ankle in a gopher hole.
Mm.
Like, crack. And dude, I'm like, I'm seeing stars, right? Well, about 5 feet in front of me, I hit another gopher hole on my left side.
Mm.
So it's like, okay, this is gonna be hard for you, Ralph. God's like, I'm gonna make it a little bit harder. I'm gonna show you what you're made of, how I made you. And man, bro, my ankles were like this. And the drill instructor's like, you want to stop? Go stop. You can stop. And I'm like, no. So I freaking went up, man, and took care of business. And
What was graduation like, man? Did your dad show up? Your mom?
so my dad showed up, and he's wearing his military hat and a cover, and he wants to meet my drill instructors. And so he didn't tell me this till later, but apparently he wrote a letter to the drill instructors. And he said, he told the drill instructors, train my son for war, break him, and get him ready for war. And I was like, son of a gun, man. But dude, after that experience of boot camp, I felt completely different. Not that I was proud of myself or nothing like that. I don't got time for that. I'm like, I gotta go spend another like 3.5, 4 years doing this shit. I was like, I don't like to train. I don't like any of this. And yeah, man. But it was all my family was there celebrating me, but they had no idea I was petrified.
what unit did you get assigned, and what was your welcoming like as a brand new Marine?
Pleasant. So I was with I got assigned with Weapons Company 25.
Okay.
Weapons Company 25. We drive from School of Infantry to uh to our unit, and I'll never forget, bro. It looks like a college campus or something, man. You got all these young kids there, and I see this dude drive up in a Jeep with a surfboard, and he's got his wetsuit on. He looked like Malibu Stacy. This dude, blonde hair, freaking ripped like crazy. He looked like he was maybe 17. And we get all of our corporals. They're like, "This is a boot drop." They're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" They're like, "How tall are you?" And I'm like, 5'3", you know? And they're like, "Fuck, look at this guy." And they just gave me so much shit, man.
Did they put you through any type of initiation process?
Oh, the whole hazing thing,
Yeah.
or the loving
Yeah.
reception.
The indoctrination?
Yeah, man. Everybody in the Marine Corps to me is taller than me, and not to make this a big and little thing, but it messed with me. And one thing that I always did for myself is I was so angry as a kid inside, but I'd be kind on the outside. But the one thing that I always did was I was boxing. I learned boxing. That's one thing, one of the nuggets. My dad, he walked me into Resurrection Boxing Gym when I was young. And I remember seeing all the vintage, old school, seeing how these guys do this, got to see Cesar Chavez and all the famous fighters. I was like, man, I like that. And once I asked my mom, "Hey mom, can you take me to a boxing gym?" She took me to South El Monte Boxing Gym with Benny Lura. And he actually gave me a shot, man. He gave me a chance. My mom couldn't afford it. And I got to train with this guy.
Wow.
And I loved it because I'm hitting a bag. I'm not hitting a person. You know, I don't want to get in trouble kind of thing. But fast forward in the Marine Corps, that's one thing I do is I box. And I learned at a very early age, don't ever talk shit. Let your actions. And that was one of those moments I was like, all right, this is one thing I don't have to talk shit about because I know what I'm doing. Well, we had a couple corporals that were freaking assholes. And they just love messing with me, man. Like, I think, "Hey, Sravi, carry this rock." You know, there's leaders, and then there's those that are just jerks. And I had one of them, and I won't say his name, but tall dude, man. Tall. Like, you're like, what, 5'5"? This guy was like 6'2", maybe 6'3" for me, and big guy. And he would always talk shit every day, and I just got sick of it. We went to, I think it was division schools, and I took my boxing gloves with me. And I was like, because I told my dad, I was like, I can't stand this dude. He says, "Hey, son, all you got to do is say, hey, if you have a problem with me, take off rank. Let's go take this out back." And I was like, I'm going to say exactly that. So we get to division schools. I pull out my gloves, and he's still talking his cheese. And I was like, "Hey, Corporal," I was like, "I got some boxing gloves if you want to go at it." I was like, "As long as it's okay and we can take off rank." And he says, "Oh, you're messing with the wrong one." He's like, "I got you, midget." And he freaking puts on his gloves, and everybody is in the squad bay. And I was like, oh man. That's why we put on the gloves. And this dude is just cockier than cocky, man. I went in there, man, like just straight up at him before his long arms could even, I'm like, boom, uppercut. This guy within like, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds, he's like, "You broke my nose. You broke my nose." And everybody's like, "Oh shit, Sarabia can scrap." And then one of the other corporals like, "Oh hell no." He comes at me, put on the boxing gloves. Same thing. This little tiny guy, man, freaking just going at his corporals. Boom, 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 boom. And they're like, "Oh hell no." And then the next corporal. Well, lo and behold, I'm going through all the corporals, man. And every single corporal, it was crazy to see because then I had to go against Sergeant Metcalf. Sergeant Metcalf, you know, he didn't know, He's a runner. He can run, he can fight, but I took some to start
Yeah.
half as well. And that experience though, man, that's what set me apart. Like now there's a level of like respect.
Mm-hmm.
Like just because I'm fucking small, don't ever like I'm not disrespecting you. Like stop fucking with me. And ever since then, man, that's how it was.
You must have got dropped in maybe during a workup when they were getting ready to
Mhm.
work up. Where were you guys getting ready to go?
We didn't know. We didn't know. They told us, I think they gave us 48 hours. They just said we're gonna go to war. Like that was the thing that I remember hearing. And they're like, hey, we just got word you got 48 hours, or 24 hours. Go tell your family, go make the calls, whatever. It was the hardest thing for me was for my mom. You know, I'm her only son. And I'll say, hey mom, she's cutting someone's hair. And I'm like, we just got word that we're gonna deploy. And she's like, I knew it. She's like, okay, son, okay. Gave gave her a big hug, and my mom always prayed for me. In Jesus' name, protect you. In Jesus' name. I said, that's all gonna be good, mom. I let her know. Talked to my sister, and like literally, man, the next day we were freaking. Our bags were on the blacktop, and we are getting ready.
Talk to me about deployment, man. Where did you end up going and what was it like?
So during the deployment, I remember getting up to March Air Force Base and getting a commercial airline. I was like, man, I thought this was gonna be like the movies. Like we're gonna get a C-130, take that sucker right in. So they take us on a commercial flight. We end up stopping in Bangor, Maine to refuel, then Germany. And then the crazy thing is, bro, flying to Kuwait was my first plane ride ever. And I was excited. I was like, man, this is my first plane ride. This is freaking awesome. And then I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not supposed to be excited about this, right? And then I got to see snow for the first time in Germany, which was crazy. So by the time we're gonna go, we're flying into Kuwait, right? And they're coming over the speakers and everything, and they're like, we're about to land, blah blah blah. Well, we land, and I don't see much, but they open up the cabin, and I have never in my life felt that kind of heat. And all of a sudden, I'm like it felt like you just put your head in the oven, and I'm like what the heck? And it was. I've been to 29 Palms, but there's nothing like that feeling, man. And everybody's just like sweating. Anytime you move, you're like sweating. And so they did they had us they got us on a bus, like like a dark bus with all the Haji stuff on it, and we're just driving in the middle of the desert. And I'm like, where are we going? They're like, well, I don't know. We're just obey, right? So they drive us in the middle of the desert, and we end up finding our staging point. And Marines, man, all we're doing is bitching. All we're doing is bitching. This is bullshit, man. What the fuck are we doing here? Like, it's hot. Where's the chow? Like, everything was bad. And I remember Gunny Googans. Gunny Googans was like, he looked like a 60-year-old. I swear, man. Meanest SOB on the planet, man. And he it was like he got up on a Humvee in my head, right? And he's like, God damn it, gents. Quit your bitching. He's like, we're gonna be here for months. Months and months and months. And I was like, I just wanna go home. Well, we end up digging our fighting holes, man. 57 days. No showers, no nothing, man. Just waiting for the word. So we end up getting all our freaking weapons, our ammo, everything, and we just start pushing. The push is what scared the shit out of me. I don't think I've ever experienced fear like during the push. And I remember my grandmother gave me a crucifix, not a crucifix, a rosary. And I put the little rosary had a little wire attached, and I put it on the bottom part of the wheel because I was driving. I was a boot, and I believe I was with Gunny Guggets. And man, I just remember it was dark. We were following some chem lights in, right? And the whole time we're getting air support to freaking just take out everything. But we crossed these berms, and these are humongous berms, man. I couldn't even tell you how tall they were. And as we're crossing, uh, Corporal Ornalis he goes, Gunny, do we go condition one? He said, well, if they're shooting at ya. And I'm like, that's what I remember. I'm like, oh my God. And all of a sudden, bro, it was like Star Wars. And we start taking contact, man. And there were throwing rounds downrange. And it's like a training mission. But at the same time, bro, like my gut, everything in my body was shaking. I was like so tight and I couldn't even breathe, man. You couldn't even, I mean, there's no air in my body, dude. And I'm just instant willing obedience. And because my body wants to stop, I'm scared. Like it was
The adrenaline down.
yeah, the scariest feeling I've ever experienced in my life was now this is what, when you made that decision by looking at that picture of that Marine, now this is where you are. And I'm like, I don't like this, right? I freaking hate training. I don't like any of this crap. And I'm like, I don't want to die. I was like, please, God. I remember praying that. I'm like, please, God, if I die, let it be quick, please. But the other part about me was I could see my mom getting the knock on the door. And I'm like, fudge. Like, as a youngster, bro, can you imagine those thoughts going through your head? Like if I die, I hope it doesn't hurt. And I don't want my mom to see this. Right. But I'll tell you what, man, I was holding on to that freaking rosary, man. Like, oh, jeez. And every time the rounds would hit, I'll be like, oh, fuck. And my gunny would be like, go. So, hi, gunny. Just driving, man.
Yeah.
So as soon as we crossed over, I remember it broke daylight, right? We took care of whatever enemy was out there. But there was a lot of just dead freaking Republican Guard, like people burnt up in buses and stuff like that. And I'm like watching this, but now I'm emotionally like disconnected. Like, what is this? Like my freaking brain is like, this is a lot, right? Well, all of a sudden we freaking see a bunch of people waving white flags. And I'm like, no way. In my head, I'm like, no way. I'm like, guys, the war's over. They're surrendering. They're like, Ralphie, are you serious? No, these are the POWs, bro. I'm like, oh, stupid shit like that. And we end up, taking these guys in. As we're driving down, we took our first casualty, and it was First Sergeant Smith. Do you remember him? LAPD.
No.
He was at LAPD. He ended up going back to the Marine Corps. I think he was out, and they were on an Amtrak, and freaking they took an RPG to the Amtrak, and that was the first like KIA I saw.
Oh, he got killed?
Yeah, that was the first KIA I saw, and I was like, things changed dramatically from that point, because everything we've done was train, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like driving down the road, seeing just busted up cars, freaking holes in all these buildings, just dead people everywhere, bro.
Charred bodies on the side of the road.
That was, that's disgusting, man. And I don't say disgusting. This is a crazy story, bro. We're driving up. We're taking all I knew is we're gonna go through Al Nazaria. We're gonna go through all these points all the way up to Baghdad. That was the push, right? Well, we get to this one spot. It's right after Saddam's swords or something like that on this highway, and all I remember is us. We're parked in this one spot, and the LT at the time's like, "Hey," because there was a flipped over car with a body under it, and it was like we couldn't move. So it was freaking just smelled horrendous, bro. And he's like, go take care of that. Like that's all I remember, the LT. Like, what do you mean? Like, you go take care of it, right?
Yeah.
And so I go and we get an ace. I say we, it's just me. Well, back in the day, they were able to pick up that freaking car. And I see this flat, like pancake body. And I was just like, oh. And I'm looking at the LT. He's like, take care of it. And I'm like, okay. So he told me to go freaking have one of the bulldozers dig a hole. And I'm like, why am I having to do this, right? So one of my buddies, we're all boots still. It's our first war. He's over there like popcorn, just, and I'm like, oh my God. And they want me to move the body. And so I was like, where are my gloves? Where are my gloves? Stupid boot, man. I don't even know where I did what I did with my gloves. So I look around and I see a plastic bag. And so what I do is I get the bag and I'm like trying to, like, I don't want to touch this thing, right? I mean, dry blood, the whole thing. And it looks like it's not a kid, but these guys were smaller than me. And I'm freaking get this bag, dude. And I'm just like, I remember my face just like, because I've never touched the dead body like this before. And I'm pulling and the bag busts. And I'm like, and you hear him say, just grab it. I'm like, and I grab it. I remember under his knee, I grab it and I pull it, dude. And you just like hear all the crackling and stuff like that, man. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing this. And I take it into the hole. And they end up burying the body.
Yeah, it's just it was on Iraq.
Yeah, there's an enemy. And my buddy Corey is the one that was laughing at me.
They go move this fuck.
No, he was like hearing go freaking, go take care of it. But he's the one watching the entire time.
Yeah.
And I actually talk to him every now and again. Remember that time, bro? Yeah, dude. It was a trip.
Jesus.
Yeah. But that was like, as a 19-year-old, like I go back to that time, like, man, like the stuff that we had to see. 19, bro.
Wow.
Like already took contact, already freaking done burying bodies.
Yeah.
Like seeing our casualties. And then freaking we get to another spot and dude, all I see is a freaking torso. And I'm like looking at it and there's a dog eating from the stomach. And I'm like, no head, no nothing. It's burnt. And I'm just like, is this really happening? It's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And we're a bunch of kids, man. We're all like, that's disgusting. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Little do they know that shit's going to traumatize us later.
Right.
You know?
Man.
I remember us taking contact probably a handful of times.
Mm-hmm.
I think I shot my weapon once. Literally. We got, somebody they put up like a roadblock and we got ambushed from both sides. And I freaking, like, that was it, right? But we ended up going to El Samoa and we stayed there for like 4 or 5 months.
Oh, wow.
But it was interesting because even as the drive up, man, we're parking these spots, and this will be a good one to note, bro, is I'm in the gun and I'm looking through night vision. And I'm looking through the night vision. It's like 02 in the morning. All the Marines are still asleep. And there's no one supposed to be in front of us, right? And Sergeant Metcalf's like, you fucking call anything out, man. And I'm like, Roger. So I'm looking for the heat signature. And all of a sudden, bro, I see this red body coming forward. And I'm like, as a boot, I hate talking on the radio because they're going to give me shit, right? So I'm like this. I'm like, Sergeant Metcalf, or Echo 5, whatever, right? Echo 5's here. Echo 5. They're like, what? And I was like, this is around here. There's somebody out front. and they're like, what? And I was like, there's somebody out front right here. And turned out it was a freaking tanker. He went around that. I'm like, oh my God, dude, we could have lit this dude up.
Ooh.
Could have lit him up.
Hey, Marines are trigger happy too. That's dangerous.
That second war.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But we ended up getting incoming that night. And we're all sleeping on the outside of the Humvees, right? Freaking RPG lands in not RPG, a mortar lands in the mud and freaking explodes. And one of our corporals was screaming, right? He's like, Gunny, am I going to die? Am I going to die, Gunny? He got hit. And Gunny's like, shut the fuck up. You're going to be fine. Poor guy. They ended up sending him home.
Oh, really?
He got hit on his, I think his leg. But Gunny's like, shut the fuck up. You're going to be fine. Well, we end up getting to El Samoa. And this story, the LT has us like line up along the railroad tracks, and we're barely checking. We're I guess it's gonna be our CP or whatever, and they all go to chow. All right, I'm the boot. I'm just gonna be on radio watch. I'll stay here, guys. And all of a sudden, I hear controlled det in 5, 4, 3, 2. And all of a sudden, I hear doom, doom, doom. I'm like, oh, what the heck? And then, and I'm like, what the heck? My ear, everything, dude. I'm like, I can't even hear. My whole body's like freaking just in shock, right? Like, what the heck? Well, we have Ocho. Ocho can't even speak English, but he's really good at trying. And he says, Rafa, get out of that truck. And I'm over like I can't even freaking move. And I end up getting out of the truck. And he said, get your rifle. And I go get the rifle, right? And what we see is, we take cover, go back, an incoming mortar encasement tube from our army was letting off a cache. And that tube flew all the way across the damn field, blew out the right side door. You know where the prongs are? The 4 prongs for your radio?
Yeah.
3 of them are broken, except the one by my right leg.
Wow.
Tore up the whole seat and everything.
Wow, man.
So guess what I have to do next? I gotta call home. So, call home. And my mom's like, oh my God, because this is the first time she's heard from me in months since the invasion. Hey, Mom. All I knew is be strong for her. All right? Hey, Mom, how you doing? And she's like, good. How was it? Did you roll your windows up the whole time? Yes, my windows were rolled up. And she's like, how is everything? I said, honestly, the food's great. We're doing good. Yeah, everything's good, Mom. I miss you. And she's like, any bad? No, everything's been good, Mom. You don't have to worry. And I just almost fucking died.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
What was it like coming back from that, your first experience, man, in combat like that?
Yeah, I think you really see you as a young kid, you don't really know what's going on with you physiologically, emotionally, but I felt different. I did feel different, man. I felt free before I left to the war. I felt like not fearless, but I just felt like chill, right? I got back to being me a little bit. But after that deployment and all the close calls, everything that we went through on that one, I remember feeling disconnected. I didn't know what that was, but I really, even hugging my mom, I didn't feel the same. Hugging my family and smiling, I felt like they could see right through me. And that was the tough part, man, because I think anybody in war, you lose a piece of yourself. And it's very hard to, identify what exactly that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you guys get into when you got back?
A lot of drinking, a lot of beer. Went and saw my girlfriend at the time and, had a blast. But it felt like, dude, I don't even remember really that when we got home, because all of a sudden I just remember now we have a new boot drop. Now we're gonna go train again. We're doing a workup,
Mm.
and we're gonna go to Ramadi. We're going back to Iraq, Al-Anbar province, Ramadi.
Before we get to that, did you spend any time with your friends from back home after that first deployment?
So when I got back, I went to see Mr. Rod,
The Ranger.
the Ranger. And Mr. Rod always gives me the biggest hug and kiss on my cheek, man. And he's like, he even told me, I actually called him right after I talked to my mom. And he says, you make sure you kill everybody. You understand? You come back home. So I said, I killed everybody. I'm home now, right? And he's like, it's so good to see you. We smoked a stogie together. Frankie's there, my buddy and some other buddies. But I didn't feel like me. Like I didn't want to be around my buddies. I just wanted to, I needed to be somewhere secluded, isolate myself, because I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like 24 hours ago, right? 24 hours ago, you're in a war zone, and now I'm home and nothing's changed.
Were they asking you about your experience?
They did. And I think at the time, I knew they were going to ask me, right? So I gave them very vague answers. I didn't go into detail because I just lived it, man. I'm good. Like, I don't want to talk about that stuff. But, and, everybody's celebrating, like, we're so happy you're home. But my mind goes, well, I'm going to go again. So, I don't have the time to be joyful. And that's something I carried with me to this day. What it is the male brain doesn't stop developing till you're 25. How many of us go to war? And what is that age? So everything that we experience before we're 25, pretty much is stuck in there. And think of abusive relationships. They don't go back because things change. They go back because it's what's familiar. Right?
Yeah.
And the thing with us vets is that how do you survive in combat? You get fucking angry. Because if you were to get scared, if you were to get fearful, you're paralyzed. Right? Well, think of a 22-year-old kid. Fuck this, let's go. Let's go get these motherfuckers, right? That's a survival mentality that kept us alive. Now we're home. We're with our family, our spouse. Our body is just discombobulated inside, right? But if we are in a compromising position, if the bills are freaking just piling up and all these things are happening, what ends up happening is we just go straight from, they call it 0 to 100. Well, it's survival. We're going into survival mentality. And it's not that we don't care about our significant others. It's that this is how we survived as kids. And that's here, right? It's concrete. It's in there. And a lot of guys they shame themselves. What they'll do is they'll say, you know what? I pissed off my family again. Now I'm going to go isolate. Because if I don't want to piss them off, I love them too much, but I don't know how to fix this. Combat guys, it's a rare, I call it like a gift, because I've done a lot of research on this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the numbers I came up with is there's less than 0.765% out of 330 million people, just from Iraq and Afghanistan, the combat vets that have actually experienced combat. And what I've done is I wrote a blog on the modern day Spartan. We expect when we get out of the military that we're like everybody else, but little do you know that you're less than 0.765% of the population that has been running and gunning. And you will never be like anybody else because God didn't make you like everybody else. You're different. And we're trying to put ourselves in these spots, and it's like they're like, I can't ever rest. And the way I share it, being a Christian guy, is like God puts you as a watchman on the wall. You'll never rest. And I try to normalize it, because if not, I'm going to feel freaking crazy. I believe that it has a lot to do with, we're definitely a different breed, first of all. Like, there's not many people like us in the way we think. And, one of the most difficult parts about, now we're going to leave the military and we're going to transition and be a civilian, right? Is, you're right. Nobody moves like us. When we say we're going to do something, we'll do it. And one thing that we learned as youngsters in the Marine Corps or Army, whatever, is that when a brother says, I got your back, he has your back, whether it means giving his own life for it. When you come to civilian life, they have your back till it's inconvenient. And at that point, it's just lip service.
Yeah.
I think we need to remember that when you have another brother that's in need, it's okay to not do what the civilian population does. It's okay to go the extra mile, because you were never meant to be like that. And not saying that it's bad, but you're built different.
Talk to me about Ramadi, man.
So we finally do the workup, and now I got my own boots. All right. We do the workup. I was with Whiskey 2 at the time, and we're training, and all of a sudden we hear that as we're about to go to Ramadi, 2-4 got lit up real bad. They lost 42 guys in the same place we're going to be. Early 2004, they got hit really bad. And so we knew we were going to go to our Ramadi. Whiskey Company is going to go to Hurricane Point. And Fox Golf, they're going to be out towards Snake Pit, all these different spots. I can't remember all the names, man. But so we did left seat, right seat.
For those that don't understand what that is, it means you're relieving another company or battalion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're doing left seat, right seat, and our unit is taking over for the old unit. And I remember being in the gun, and we have, a couple of, I think, some staff sergeants or something, and I got this corporal, and he's in the rear seat, and as we're getting ready to drive, you feel it's a different environment. Like, you could feel like this like fear. It's a different type level of fear. I'm like, this doesn't feel good at all. Tension. That's what it was. Tension. You being in, the prisons and stuff like that, you could probably sense that real quick.
Yeah, you could feel it.
And at this time, I'm 20, 21 maybe. And I'm in the gun. And the corporal's like, hey, motherfucker, you better not freeze. He's like, you better fucking shoot. And like his eyes, bro, like, he scared me. I was like, are you freaking serious? Like, he was so, like, dude, 7 months, man. They're ready to get the hell out of there. That's his last day. And they're going to take contact every day. That's the whole thing with Ramadi. And so I'm like, yeah, I got you, man. I got you. And I'm like, what the I'm in the gun like, what the fuck? And they're like, motherfucker, whoever you see, when they start hitting contact, he told me exactly what the enemy's going to do. And I was like, man, I saw like a few firefights in the first war, right? In my head. But I was like, all right. He's like, they're going to hit with a freaking IED. As soon as the IED hits, what they're going to do is they're going to hit you with RPK, and they're going to freaking, they're going to do a 360-degree ambush, RPGs. Just freaking be ready, dude. And I'm like, Raj. So get in the gun, and we drive maybe, I don't know, a block boom, freaking over the radio, uh, contact right. And I'm like, dude, all of a sudden, everything goes like this. Woo, and I can't even freaking see in front of me, dude. I have my finger ready to hit that trigger, but I'm like trying to, and he's like, motherfucker, shoot, shoot, rounds everywhere, bro. I'm like, what the fuck is? And all of a sudden, my eyes clear up, dude. As soon as I pulled that trigger, you want to know the first thing I felt? I felt peace. As soon as I pulled the trigger, something like everything turned off. I pulled that trigger, man. And I was like, oh my God, a different feeling. My biggest thing, bro, when he was telling me to shoot, I didn't see the enemy. I saw him run, but I didn't see him again. And he's fucking hitting my knee like he's going to shoot me. And so I'm like, I'm not going to fucking hit a kid. That was my biggest thing as going to war. I don't want to hurt a kid. And so I start aiming for the ground till I'm able to see the enemy. And obviously, Ramadi, it's hunting season. These knuckleheads are coming from Fallujah, but the only thing is they're mixed with the population. So that's the whole thing with Fallujah is that, I mean, my brothers that went to Fallujah, man, they kicked ass, took names, man. They freaking saw way more than anybody at that time. But when that happened, every one of those swinging dicks came by and they mixed in with the population. And so I'm there at Whiskey 2, Hurricane Point, and they switched me over to Whiskey 3. And I was like, what the now I'm attached to 81's platoon. And I know these guys, but I don't know them. You know, it's like I felt like rejected again. Like, what the fuck did I do? And it really like messed with me. I'm like, maybe I'm just not good enough to be there. But I ended up going to Whiskey 3. Met one of the finest freaking commanders on the planet, man. Lieutenant Callahan. I can honestly say that he's one of my biggest heroes and one of the best examples of a leader. So our mission every day, either find the bad guys, escort the log trains to go feed the Echo, Golf, or whoever. But there was this thing that as soon as we got ready to put our gear on, like you felt like, man, well, this may be the last time I'm here. Like every day was like that. Because what happened is we started getting ambushed every freaking day. Every day, bro. And we're getting hit with IEDs, RPK, RPGs. I remember, but that was that one day, right?
Yeah.
And then we finally got to our unit. And that's when they switched me over to 81's platoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were in a cat team. So 5 trucks. You got your 50 cal, your Mark 19s, your 240 Golfs, and yeah, so we had it all. So I was the rear truck. Kelly was the front truck. And Kelly's one of my biggest heroes too, man. Kelly was from Mississippi. One of our first official times going out, we take contact, heavy contact by the government center, Route 295. And man, it was the craziest thing, bro. Like, we get literally a 360-degree ambush. Shooting from every direction. These knuckleheads are killing themselves.
Right, if they're shooting at 360 degrees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And every time we went out, man, I'll tell you what, bro, I'm like that guy that I don't like drama, right? I don't like drama. I don't hate anybody, but I'd always look at my guys, man, and I could see how scared a lot of our guys were. And so what I do is I do dance competitions, like right before a freaking QRF mission. I would freaking just be like making jokes, man, talking shit to these guys, even though I was petrified inside. Every freaking time I got in that gun, we go. And it's crazy because one of the experiences of Ramadi was um our one of our he was a good buddy of mine, a good not good buddy, he's a brother. His name was Langley, and Langley was a gunner, and but he was a whiskey too. And all I remember is just hanging out Hurricane Point, probably getting ready for another mission, and we get hear over the radio that Whiskey 2 got hit. Those were my guys. Well, come to find out, man, Langley took a IED. I think he got some of the shrapnel on his head. We didn't know how bad it was, but he ended up passing away in, I believe, Germany. Yeah, that one was like, bro, talk about somebody that you, what's up, dog? Like, how you doing, man? You know, like brothers, man. Pain in the ass. Couldn't stand him at times, but I love him. He's still my brother. And we took that loss like, it was like, this is for real. And we were only there like a week, 2 weeks maybe, and we're already getting casualties. Sean was a guy that was he wanted to please. He wanted you to know that he can do it. Like, he's got your back. And his character, dude, one of the kindest dudes you'd ever meet. Like, honestly, like one of the kindest dudes you ever meet. So one thing that I didn't mention is during that first war, Langley was in the seat behind me. And I rarely share this, but we got in that, I think it was one of our first ambushes. We're in a canal somewhere, and they're telling us to freaking get out of the truck because I don't remember what happened, but I froze. And I was like, and when I froze, Langley fucking tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Come on, Ralphie, let's go." And like, oh shit. And yeah, I actually got his,
Snapped you out of it, huh?
he snapped me out of it. I got his tattoo.
Oh, wow.
Put his name on my,
Rip Langley. Oh, yeah. Awesome, man.
yeah, man.
Wow.
But good.
Sorry for your loss, man.
Thanks, man. So during that time, like the casualties just kept coming, bro. Like, catastrophic IED freaking kills Captain Rapp, 4 other guys. Like, we're getting guys getting hit, shot. It felt like we were having funerals every freaking day. Like, it was crazy. We had reporters, 60 Minutes. If you go on 60 Minutes, look up 25 Weapons Company. That's my platoon. And obviously our company, showing how freaking crazy it was. So we rarely had time to do stuff like this, but what we do is, we put everybody in formation. They'd have their cross with their boots, their dog tags, their Kevlar. Yeah, and basically they do like a roll call. And I think that is one of the most excruciatingly painful things I've ever experienced in my life. And what they'll do is they'll say, Corporal Johnson, Corporal Marquez, and then they'll go, Lance Corporal Langley, Lance Corporal Sean Langley, and then they'll say Lance Corporal Sean Langley killed in action on this day. And even as a war dog, our guys, man, we cry, man. These are the guys we got drunk with. You're sharing more stories. They know more about you and your family. They know more about your everything than anybody on the planet.
So just to help people better understand that is, while they're calling out everybody else's name, people are saying present or
right
repeating their name. But then when you get to, in this case, Langley, who's been KIA, it's just complete silence.
Complete silence.
That's the painful part.
You're absolutely right, man. It was definitely a growing experience, bro. Because you never know what you're made of until you're put in that position. And I'll be honest with you, I've never felt good enough. Obviously, from being a kid, like if my own father walked out on me, what does that mean? What did I do so wrong? Like, I'm that guy, so I always wanted to please. Like, how can I help you? Because it doesn't matter about me. That's why the Marine Corps was good for me, because it's serving others before yourself. And doing that, our guys were we were taxed, man. One of my best friends to this day is Kelly. I don't even know what his freaking first name is. It's Sean Kelly from Mississippi. And Sean Kelly's like this short, stocky dude. Uh, and this guy, him and I, we just got along, man. And he was a guy that was a little bit older than me, but always fucking around with each other. And he's like, we both got in this ambush, right? He was the front truck, I was the rear truck. We got in this ambush, and he freaking he took contact from everywhere, and the shield had little cigarette ashes peppered across the whole shield. And I always look up to him because like he's brave, I could be brave, right? And he comes running on the back of as soon as we get to base, he runs to the back of my truck, and like he hands me a freaking letter from his mom and starts dry heaving. And I'm like, bro, what's up? Are you okay? He's like, this is in case I don't make it, Ralphie. And I'm like, bro, stop it. I got you. Come on. I was like, I'm a better shot than you. Just fuck with him. And he's like, no, man, that's something different. I was like, okay. I said, we just talk shit like to keep each other good, right? And we got in so many freaking ambushes, bro. We got they called it round robin. I got somebody shooting from a mosque, right? And our thing was not to shoot the mosque. Well, that's where I saw the first freaking thing. So Callie and I are like, because we're the first trip, last trip, right? And we're shooting talking guns. My gun goes down. Kelly picks up the suppression of fire. I see the ricochets of these rounds. I'm like, oh my God, come on. I should have cleaned it better. And obviously get back in the fight and just keep going, man. But yeah, the thing about sharing these stories is that you can see the facial expressions change. You can physically feel your body as if you were there. It's a physiological response. And like, so right now, like I'm shaking like crazy. Why? Because I'm talking about something and my brain is trying to prepare me, like to get me ready for this battle. It's like, if you're talking about it, that means we're getting ready to do this. So your blood pressure, everything starts to go. Your mind will start to race. And it's very hard for guys to communicate effectively because everything is going like this in your brain. And you'll hear guys like, they'll talk about the combat and they're trying to get the words out.
Yeah.
So the amount of combat we're seeing is ridiculous. Like, we're running out of ammo type of ridiculous. I remember, I'm that guy, dude, that like, I hate going out in town. My ass puckers like nobody's business. I can't shit for a week. I'm just like, my stomach is turning, right? I'll never forget this moment, dude. So every platoon was hit with significant amount of IEDs, man. Significant amount. My LT, you know how they do their little journals? And I was within 30 to 50 feet of like 20 something IEDs, bro. I didn't even know that, right? I was like, that's why I'm dumb. That's why. But it was crazy because this one time I was the SOG for Camp Hurricane Point. And basically it's a platoon that gets this freaking rest for like I think it's a week. And then you go out in town, somebody else switches over. So I'm in the CP, freaking listening to the radios. And I remember, dude, all hell just broke loose in Ramadi. Like every platoon, every unit got sent out. You see smoke, you hear everything on the radio. Break, break. Roger, be advised. And all of a sudden, I hear We have a urgent surgical. We have one KIA, one WIA. Stand by for, and they say Sierra, and they give their last four. And little did I know, bro, but my buddy is him and I came up from boot camp all the way up, man. He's a short Korean, would say, I Korean, motherfucker. But he was a badass machine gunner, man. He was older from out Koreatown. And we hear, be advised, we have one KIA. And I look, and it's my boy. And I remember, dude, like getting my Kevlar and slamming it on the ground, bro. And I think one of the staff sergeants like, hey, it's not so. It's not so. It's Halverson. And the mix of emotions, because Halverson is an amazing kid. Amazing kid, dude. And they were on Route 295. RPG hits the corner of the truck and freaking goes through Halverson. And so gets peppered with it. Hits his main artery. But our doc at the time, Doc Aggie, Doc Aggie gets the scissors to cut So's pants. He's like, "Hey, bro, these are my new digis." He's like, "So, come on, are you serious?" He has to cut it, right? And freaking yeah. So actually, I talked to him in Germany. He's like, "Hey, what's up, fool?" And I said, "Hey, bro," I said, "Why you leave so fast?" I said, "Why'd you leave so fast, man?" I was like, "You just didn't want to be here or what?" He's like, "Nah, I got hit." I was like, "Yeah, no shit." I said, "Make it back, bro. We'll see you soon." We ended up freaking. He obviously has to go, but like I was sharing with you, we're taking these casualties, and I'm already at this point where it only takes, I don't know, 2 weeks for your body to tap out on adrenaline. After a firefight, my platoon, you want to know where you'd find them? Not at the gym. It's like a nursery in the squad bay. That adrenaline jump. Everybody, right? And we end up going on, we get called out again, right? Put on our gear. We go out. And unfortunately, one of the LTs and his driver were hit. And October 31st, well, I'm in the rear truck, and all of a sudden I see this white flash, right? We're in the middle of the town, in Almaty, and I see this white flash, and all of a sudden, my ears, the pressure goes, whoa, and that's all I remember. And I fucking wake up. I come to, I feel like my face is on fire. There's smoke in the freaking cabin. And I got one of my docs who's screaming to me to get back in the gun because we're getting fucking hit. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? What just happened? And I come to, man. I get back in the gun. I start shooting. Funny thing, though. My Doc Martin, he's like the biggest white boy, but he talks like he's a black dude, and he has a stutter. So anytime we're getting contact, he go, "Hey, corporal, contact right." I'm like, "Come on, man." I was like, "Jeez." So I had him start to hit my knees whenever we took contact. But yeah, I ended up getting knocked out on that one.
Went unconscious, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. But it was nothing to us because people are dying. We're just getting fucking knocked out real quick, right? So I get back to base. We see the damage, and dude, there was holes in my shield, except where I was standing. Holes in my shield, with that big ass shield, except where I was standing, like my silhouette. There's so many crazy things that happen, bro. We're on this mission. We're getting ready to go to, I think, Snake Pit or something. And I'm the last truck coming in, and we're stopped, right? All of a sudden, I look about oh, it looked like 150 yards, 200 yards. Um, this sedan comes up. And when it comes up, I can't make what they're doing, but I'm pointing at them. And all of a sudden, dude, I hear doom, doom, doom. Freaking RPGs, dude, coming at me. Like I could see the fucking smoke, but I don't know where the hell these RPGs are going. They're impacting to my right. They're impacting to my left. We had them bounce off the freaking thing and go over me. And but I'm gonna tell you what I did. I was like, oh shit. I was like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I start shooting, man. But yeah, dude, like, are you serious? So all these little near life and death experiences are happening. And that's the entire time we were there. But the thing that really brought me to a place where I learned a lot about who I am is we had this after the catastrophic kill of our CO, we had some new guys come in, and I had this little kid, not a little kid, grown man, but he was Lance Corporal at the time. His name was Richard Chad Clifton, and he was from headquarters. And as of now, dude, I don't care who you are. Like, don't fucking get me killed. Don't get any of us killed, right? And they want to be your friend. They want to, hey, Corporal, how you doing? Good to see you. You know, stuff like that. I'm like, Poe, get away from me, right? And I remember, like, my staff sergeant's like, he keeps forgetting his CYZ-10. It's the radio encryption. And that box is gold. Like, the enemy gets a hand of that, they get their hands on that, they can hear everything we're doing. So that happens, and basically tells me to get in his ass. So I get in his ass. I chew him out. I fucking go have him dig sandbags for about a half hour. Out back, right? And this was like the third time, and I'm trying to like, hey, keep that shit on you, tie it to you, whatever. And Roger that, Corporal, and he felt so bad now. Like, I'm sorry, you know, like, and all of a sudden, he comes back in. I'm like, what? And he's like, hey, Corporal, I need to zero in 81's radios. And so at Camp Hurricane Point, right up front, there's like this big old thing of sand, and then the wall and the river to the left. And we're always taking incoming right there. Always, bro. And I don't know why they wanted to set up 81's guns right there. So he ends up, I said, go. So he goes, and I'm feeling like pretty bad. Like, man, I don't like to do shit like that. But obviously there's something that you got to know this is serious, right? Well, all of a sudden we hear doom, 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 boom, and the worst sound you can ever hear is coming up. And I run out, and the first person that comes to me is Barnt. Barnt's got shrapnel on his chest, and he's pale as hell. Ren's got shrapnel in his head. Both of them are like just dazed. And I'm like, hey, come on. And I remember like walking them to the wall, like the backside of this wall, because there's hooches, and it was the third or fourth hooch. But I see the smoke, and I go around, and as soon as I go around, I see his body completely, and just it wasn't together. And I saw this, and I was like, who the fuck is that? Like, it's Clifton. And I was like, that's all right. I couldn't feel. And I started beating myself up, like, why are you not feeling right now? Because my body's in survival mode, right? So we ended up taking care of our guys. And shortly after that, man, some of the platoons are crying, bro. And I literally, like, I don't know what came up in me, and I don't know if it was the right thing or the wrong thing. But I freaking, hey, Jets, this is fucking war. And I was angry. I was like, we'll deal with this later. We still got a fucking job to do. I was like, what am I doing? Right? Well, carry on, man. That that war just tore me up. I think getting out of the military for me, the Marine Corps, was the most difficult thing I ever experienced because now I don't have a purpose. I remember 2 weeks out and I was encouraged to go get my, what is it, your unemployment? Bro, like I made the phone call and I felt like shit. Like, I don't want to do that. So I didn't even wait for unemployment. I was like, I need to do something, right? And I was planning I wanted to join LAPD. That was my dream since I was a kid. My cousins, uncles, everybody's LAPD detectives. Got to hear all the stories. That's why I stayed in a good place too, by the way. Kept my nose clean. Well, I freaking, I call my cousin. I'm like, hey, bro, are you guys hiring? And he worked for a fencing construction company that does vinyl fencing. And so he's like, yeah. He's like, it's like $30, man. If I don't care, I need to do something. My body was going berserk, dude. And if you allow me to isolate long enough, I'm going to find myself in solitary confinement mentally. And that's not a good place for me.
Do you recall the first night sleeping as a civilian and waking up, without your routine that you're used to for the past, 4 years?
The interesting part was I do remember waking up as a civilian and I had a hangover, right? Like all of us. And I felt so like shame immediately shame. Like, why didn't I go back with these guys? Why didn't I do this? Like I beat the living daylights out of me. And like, there was this weird feeling. Like, I remember feeling like I didn't have purpose before I left for the Marine Corps. And now I'm back to this. And it completely, like, I noticed significant changes very quickly. Now I'm getting pissed very easy. Ralph is the nice guy, man. I'm fucking getting angry, like rage, like a rage I've never experienced before. And it was like everything that I couldn't deal with overseas because we had a job to do. Now I'm gonna deal with it. And I honestly felt for the first 5 years that I was going fucking nuts, that I was going insane because I'd have these bipolar, schizophrenic episodes type of thing. Not really, but like I'd be okay, and then I'd go into extreme depression, and my body's doing this the whole freaking time because it still thinks I'm out there overseas, and I can't sleep. I actually went to the VA for one thing. I didn't go for anything else. I didn't want a disability benefit because I wanted to join LAPD. I said, I can't sleep. And they're like, well, try this, right? None of that shit. Like that's what you give a horse for a tranquilizer. I can't even operate in the morning, right? But my sleep has been the biggest issue for me since leaving the military. I could sleep real cool, like beautiful sleep around my brothers in the freaking in the worst place in the world at that time, in Lamati. Sleep like a baby. You put me out here, it's not the same. And so I'm getting these constant like catastrophic thoughts. Every little thing that we were talking about, every little thing, every problem, every stress is now, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. I would catastrophize everything. Oh, like I'm having trouble right now. Well, I'm probably gonna die. Everywhere I went, I felt like I was gonna die. I was getting ready to die. So my conversations I'd have with family, I didn't say I'm gonna die. I would like, man, I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. You don't know this, but I'm probably taking off soon. I don't know how, don't know when, And that's like the first freaking maybe 6, 7 weeks. Started having these bouts of crying out of nowhere. And I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? So I end up, I'm like, man, I need to get focused on something. So I started working, for Gavin DeBecker. Remember? Gavin DeBecker and Associates. And first client I had was Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle. Then I moved on for like the next few years, man, with different celebrities and stuff like that. I bet you as soon as I walked up, they're like, your profile said you're 6'2". What? And yeah, man. Crazy thing is, that's when I met my wife. Is during one of the most difficult times for me. She was a godsend. Godsend, bro. Because I didn't share this, but as soon as I was in a relationship for 5 years. A week after I got back from Ramadi, I went up to the girl that I thought I was gonna marry, and I said, "I'm done. I'm done." And I took a drive to Santa Barbara by myself. And I'm like, I feel nothing. I thought I was gonna feel something. I felt nothing. My body was completely gone. She stuck with me through my homeless man. And I said, I'm done. They don't understand that, but
Why did you feel like you were done with her?
I have no idea other than to say, now I'm really broken. This guy, you're not going to want, because I don't even know who this is. And how can I love somebody I don't even feel? I don't feel. The only thing I feel is when I get drunk. And those feelings aren't good feelings. So I ended up taking off and, did all those things and coming back to meeting my wife. So I met my wife while I decided, I said, you know what? I did the bodyguard stuff. And I said, that fencing company that my buddy worked for, dude was making hand over fist money. I was like, I'm going to start my own. So I ended up starting a business. It was the perfect time of the year. It's 2008. In the construction field, that's when we had the worst residential fallout or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
Market crash.
yeah, dude. Within a year, the business is gone. And I'm like, there, you're a failure again. You're a failure again. And my wife, I was like, maybe, you know what? I need to go to LAPD. That's it. I'm done. I got to go do this. And I would always think, I'm not going to pass the test. I'm not going to pass the test. Just the written exam. Because we all know I don't like tests. And so I go to LAPD. I take the exam. And I pass with flying colors, bro. I'm like, no way, God, this is it. This is it. Okay. I do the oral interview. Best score now. High score. Then I go to do my lie detector test. And the polygraph examiner asked me one question. You ever stole anything? I said, well, let me tell you what happened. And I share about my mom's story. And he's like, you got a good mom, man. Passed. So background's passed.
Wow.
And I'm like, I get a letter and I take it straight to Mr. Rod. Mr. Rod, check this out. I was like, conditional job offer for LAPD. I'm like, this is all I ever wanted. This is why I worked this hard. And my last thing was conditional on medical. Great shape. Freaking go in there and they do an Ishihara eye exam. I had no idea, but I couldn't see the shapes in the Ishihara exam for the eyes. And the lady doesn't tell me anything. She says, you see this? You see this? No. I passed everything, but I get a letter in the mail. It says, unfortunately, you are disqualified because you can't see color vision or you're colorblind. And good luck on your endeavors. I was like, what? That on my identity went straight to I'm going to be like my father. So I end up appealing it. I go get another eye exam. Um, I send it in, and they're like, sorry, there's nothing we could do. I'm like, no, no, I'm not. I didn't come this far. I didn't come this far. I didn't survive all this stuff. I didn't deal with all this BS to have you say no. So I was able to get a meeting with one of the chiefs. And cool thing was Mr. Rodriguez bought me my suit. He's like, go down there, tell him. I go down there and I say, sir, I was a sergeant in the infantry. I said, our unit lost 16 guys, man. I was like, if my own country, if I could serve my country and they could trust me overseas, why can't you trust me in the city? And you know what this asshole did? He gave me his coin and he says, hey kid, it's not me, it's politics. Good luck. And so that's when I'm driving down the freeway, I freaking chuck that coin. And bro, from then on, that point, that's when I was like, there's no one's here to help me. No one's fucking here to help me. And it wasn't until I read this book. It's called Sun Stand Still by Stephen Furtick. And these words on this book, man, it was like it highlighted to me. I didn't understand how even other departments that I tried out for, everything went and froze, right? Everything was a freeze. But this little quote said, sometimes your dreams have to die so God's dream can come alive. Sometimes your dream has to die so God's dream can come alive. I didn't know what that meant. But when I met my wife, she didn't feel sorry for me. She wasn't impressed at my military. Not that she wasn't impressed, but she didn't allow me to have these pity parties. And I hated it, but I appreciated it. Well, my wife had a baby at I think I met him at 3 months old. And literally I've raised him since he was a baby. He's now 17. But we end up having a daughter. We're getting ready to have a daughter. And I'm still not in work, but I'm at school. And she's like, hey, I know you're in school, but we're going to need some extra money. And I said, okay. I freaking go and apply for all these jobs and not getting hired. And I end up finding a job 2-on-1. It paid dirt money, right? And I was like, hey, I've got to do this to provide for my family. Even though I've never seen what this looks like from a male's perspective. And we're like, my dad, when things got rough, he'd just leave. I'm like, I got to do this. I got to do this right. Well, I go for a 2-on-1 and I'm wearing this suit and I'm kicking and screaming, man. I'm so pissed because I don't want to do this type of job. It's like a call center rep. And my wife is fixing up my tie and I get a phone call. I'm like, hello? He's like, it's a guy from with Israeli accent that I used to work with. Is this Ralph? I'm like, yes. He's like, Gary. He's like, you still looking for work? I was like, yes. He's like, okay, come down to Calabasas. Now, are you dressed? And I said, yes. So I ended up calling the 2-on-1. Hey, gotta go. Drive down to Calabasas. And I go through the gates. And I drive up to this freaking humongous mansion. And I walk up. I meet some of the executive protection guys. And they said, come on, hey, introduce your client. And lo and behold, this freaking guy comes running down the stairs and it's Justin Bieber. Oh, shit. I'm like, no way. No way. And this guy freaking ends up escorting me with a squirt gun. This is when he was young, right? Oh, my new suit. I was like, oh, great introduction. No, but great experience, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. And within a year, we all end up getting fired. So I went from having a purpose again, like feeling proud of myself, right? Now the next day I'm at a parking lot with a badge as security guard. And I'm like, God, what are you doing? Like I was a sergeant, I was this, and I kept getting back like humbled almost. And I remember crying, man, at the parking lot, like, this is not what I'm fighting for. I'm trying to keep my right mind. And one thing that my dad told me when I got out of the Marine Corps, and it was the most precious advice. He says, son, he said, did the Marine Corps pay you? And I said, yes. He's like, did they put a roof over your head? I said, yes. Gave you clothes? Yes. Okay. When you get out of the Marine Corps, don't ever have an entitlement freaking attitude. He said, nobody owes you a fucking thing. And you remember that. You work for everything. And when he said that, I was like, and I pulled on that. So these highs and lows, man, I'm like, oh my God, it's horrible. And every time I'd get drunk, man, I'd be having my pity parties. I mean, suicidal thoughts, things like that were coming into play. And I was like, I'm never going to be anything important. But little did I know that this next season of my life was different. Because then I'm like, all right, God, I'm going to have to trust in you more than I trust in myself, and stop talking and start doing. And the only problem is that I came back and found out I had a traumatic brain injury. So just like when I freaking ankles cracked right before I went on the Crucible, here's another thing where I can't even go to school. First of all, I say I hated school, but now you're going to have school, and now you're going to have this disability, right? So tried it 4 times, tried college, dropped out. And the 5th time, I was like, all right, I'm going to try this again. But my wife says, hey, you're either going to do it this time and stop making excuses, or do something else. And I said, all right. I got a recorder and some other stuff to help me like remember how to write papers. Because every night it was like 10-second Tom, I'm just forgetting. And so I had a template, and I got my bachelor's in psychology with a 2.9 GPA. Everybody's like, what? I said, yeah, if you knew the way my brain was working. And I said, you know what? Now I got a bachelor's degree. I'm going to try my dream school, USC. So let's see if I get in. And everybody's like, 2.9, come on, no way. I wrote my story. I didn't know this, but my story would open up so many doors. And they say, we don't normally do this, but we're going to give you a shot. I get into USC, and these papers are coming, and I'm having a hard time. Like, it's not doing what I need. My brain's not doing what it needed to do. And I end up going to the Marcus Institute for Brain Health, and they help me with my cognitive stuff and balance. My wife says, no more excuses. What are you going to do? I'm like, her name is Jody, by the way. Jody is the nicest Jody. I said, well, I'm going to go back. She said, well, do it. So I end up writing letters to the deans. I get back into USC, man. I graduated with my master's degree.
Nice.
And during that process, bro, I thought, once I get that degree, I'm going to walk across that stage. They're going to give me the degree. Then I'm going to feel smart. That shit is not what happened. They just effed up my name. So I got a master's degree. But one thing that I wanted to share is that I was going through all this trouble, and this anxiety and this depression and these catastrophic thoughts. I went to school to find out what the hell was wrong with me. And I started going to counseling, and it was a counselor, Luis from San Bernardino Vet Center, says, hey, man, he's like, you do pretty good at this. He's like, why don't you become a therapist for combat vets? And I was like, I would love that. So I started volunteering at the vet center, started working full time, and I was able to be a therapist at the Corona Vet Center.
Wow.
And I've been counseling thousands of combat vets on their trauma and the shit that they deal with on a daily basis. And the cool thing is, man, is I get to say, I know, bro. Those feelings that you feel, I feel them too, man.
Mm.
But you gotta stay strong. You owe it to your daughter to walk her down the aisle, no matter how painful this is. You're set apart. Remember, you're that 0.765%. The reason you feel like you're nobody is because you are just completely different breed. You got to get used to the not feeling like everybody else. I was like, God put you as a watchman. And the beautiful thing about it is like, bro, I love it. I love what I do. And it's helped me tremendously.
Yeah.
I think that process has been, I've been doing it for 14 years.
Nice.
But I've also had this like entrepreneurial spirit, man. My mom owned her own business. She got off of welfare when I was like 13, and she ended up opening up her own hair salon. So I was like, if she could, I got this. So one thing about this recovery process was I had God, I had counseling, my wife, and boxing.
Mm.
So what I started doing is every time I get angry, I'd have the choice of the alcohol or hitting the bag. I start hitting the bag and I cry my eyes out, exhausted, but I hit the bag. And that was helping me in so many ways. So I said, you know what? During COVID, I told my wife, I said, I think I'm going to start a boxing brand. She's like, go for it. And so I trademarked a brand called Putazos. And I thought it was the dumbest $1,400 I ever spent because I didn't have a business yet. I just trademarked this.
I'm surprised you got that. That was available.
It was.
Wow.
It was. So I trademarked it.
Well, tell everybody what putazos means for those who don't.
For sure. So putazos, it's Spanish slang for knockout punches. So the way I branded putazos, right, is my whole thing was to make t-shirts. Just make t-shirts. And so what I'd share with everybody is putazos is throwing punches with the goal of inflicting maximum pain and damage. We throw putazos at PTSD, anxiety, depression, and whatever would hold you back from being the best version of yourself. So the way I branded this, man, I was like, this needs to mean something. I don't want to do this just because. And I started learning about it. Like all these things I went through, my stories, like this is all for a reason. And so started making t-shirts because all I wanted to do was anytime I go to see a boxing match, that was my life in that fight. Every time these guys get knocked the hell out, every time they get back up, they keep fighting, they move forward, even though they can't breathe. See, that's me. And so that's what I was reminded of. And lo and behold, man, I ended up meeting the California State Athletic Commissioner, and we started making boxing gloves, or I started making boxing gloves. And right now, Putazos is been around for 4 years. I'm doing it by myself and my wife when she can. But we just got approved by the most difficult commission in the world, and that's the California State Athletic Commission.
Mm.
So we're a veteran-owned fight brand, Putazos.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Started doing that, but I started making some really cool gloves. And I actually brought a gift for you.
No way.
Yeah, where's my gummy bears? So this right here, it represents everything I've ever been through and how I continue my fight. So when you put these on, like, and I'll describe them to you as you see them because everything has meaning. But check these out.
Yeah, right. Are you kidding, dude?
Yeah, they're army gloves.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
I ain't wearing it.
I'm joking. I got them though.
You make these?
Yeah.
Oh, these are dope, dude.
Open them up, man.
Are you kidding me?
So I saw these in a dream, bro.
What?
Yeah, not like I saw the EGA and everything in the dream.
What?
Yep.
That's badass, dude. Look at that. Eagle, globe, and anchor.
So that's 100% cowhide leather.
Really?
I As you can see, the combat patch, right?
Wow. Putazos, fight to the end.
And that's the thing.
Dude, these are dope, dude. Thanks, brother. Hell yeah,
I
dude.
knew you needed some new gear.
You know what, man? To be honest with you, I've been looking in the, I told you that I boxed growing up, not in a gym or anything, but,
Yeah.
in high school, we used to throw backyard fights with gloves.
Yes,
We
that's
weigh
how-
each other up, like, and throw legit matches.
Yes.
And, I miss it, man. I love boxing. And recently I've been thinking about hanging my heavy bag back up in the garage and changing it up because I get tired of like jogging and
got
all
you.
this shit. Dude, thanks, brother. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Dude. Hell
I'd love to show you real quick, like the meaning behind this real quick. Okay. So when you see my glove, you're going to see 16 stars and a rifleman.
Mhm.
Those 16 stars are what I fight for. And those are the guys from Mamadi
Mm.
and the first store. And obviously a flag that's backwards. It says that's never retreat. Always run towards your fear.
Mm.
Right? So whenever you're wearing gloves or whenever you're fighting, fight for something, right? And you don't have the luxury to quit, so you got to fight to the end.
Hell yeah. These are badass, dude.
So,
Thank you.
yes,
Dude, I could smell them.
these are legit.
Dude.
That's how when I walked into Resurrection Boxing Gym, that's what I saw, like the color, the vintage, and it's old school, bro.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I'm going to use these. I don't know. You almost don't want to use them, though.
Oh, that's what everybody says, man.
You want to I'd probably hang them up or something.
But I can get the laced ones, so you can hang up the laced ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Those are bad, dude.
I'm glad you like them, man.
I got a shirt I'll give you in the warehouse back here.
Oh, good, man.
We haven't launched them yet or anything, but, well, man, any last words before we cut?
So I think one thing I would share with our vets is remember who you are. Don't remember what people have told you who you are. Remember that you are such a small percentage of people on this planet, and you're not created like everybody else. You're different. It's not a bad thing. You're just uniquely qualified to be watchmen on the walls, protectors. Don't forget that the opposition, the things that you go through, the fight is never over. You got to continue fighting. That fight doesn't stop. And when you need to take a knee, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just call a brother. Like, I can't help you if you don't ask. That's called humility. And we don't need the pride. You don't need it because you're good. You have nothing to prove. Start to move in that positive direction one step at a time, and you're going to make it. My life ain't perfect, but I'm still fighting. So don't give up the fight. Keep throwing them putazos.
Been a pleasure to sit with you, brother.
Absolutely,
Thanks
man.
for showing up, man.
Thanks, bro.